Until the 1st of April, I had no idea who Nipsey Hussle was. And when I heard of his death and I began to research what he'd done and all of his contributions to his community and the work he was trying to do, I've never felt so embarrassed. As someone who idolises both Tupac and Lisa Left Eye Lopez, I couldn't believe that I hadn't been able to marvel this man's work when he was actually on this planet. And the reaction I saw from his passing across the world and over the globe, I couldn't believe it. It was just amazing. But it showed me how incredible he was, and for days, honestly, I cried day after day, and I felt so strange about it. This man that I didn't know, I never even heard his album until the other day. Something about it just hurt my heart so bad, and it was just crazy to look out into social media and see how many people had been hurt by this man that many of us had never even met, and that speaks so many volumes that we'll never even know. But I just wanted to share something that I came across when I was scrolling and looking through, because I love doing it. I still do it now. I look through all of his pictures and things people have posted about him because it inspires me. And I came across a picture on Instagram of someone's Facebook status that they had written. It was from someone called Daryl Johnson, and it was posted by MilfShake831. And I'll read it to you. It says, "My granny ain't never heard no Nipsey Hussle. Ain't never seen that man. Today she was watching the news about his death, and she said, 'That boy that got killed on Crenshaw, what did he do?' I said, 'He's a rapper / businessman.' She says, 'All I've been hearing is good things about him. Matter of fact, great things. You know what that means, right?' I said, 'Nah, Granny, what's it mean?' My granny looked up at the sky and said he was an angel. I said, 'How so, Granny?' She said, 'Trust me when I tell you that man was of God. Look at how pure his heart was. He got people really sad. Sadder than if it was one of their family members. That man had a purpose and he died for his youth. Believe me when I tell you.' My grandma said that man served his purpose. He had nothing else to do for this world. She said he was at his best and God needed him because he had no more to do. He made his mark and served his purpose, and I believe that strongly in my heart. She said that man was a reflection of God and that caterpillars turn into butterflies. Don't ever let that go over your heads." I believe that truly. I believe he was an angel on this earth. As someone who is spiritual and believes in spirit, there is no one that comes on this earth that does work like that who isn't sent by God. And we're going to read for him and see how his spirit's getting on during his transition. So I have been meditating, trying to connect with Nipsey's energy. Very easy for me to connect with, luckily, and I can feel him. He came in instantly. If you've watched many of my tarot readings, you'll know I connect with people through their music, especially if they're musicians. I just put on their music and I try and connect with them that way. He was very willing to come forward and very willing to speak. I've asked a few questions. I asked him what he wanted this reading to be focused on. He told me Lauren and the kids. He said he's happy to talk a bit about his career, but his main focus is them. He's explained to me that his work has been laid out for him over in the spirit world, and he has been tasked with helping teenagers, mainly teenage boys, in the African American communities in America. So he is really kind of happy to be focused on that. I've been kind of connecting with his spirit for the past kind of 10 or 15 minutes, and we've had quite a nice conversation. It's been a little bit emotional, and before I kind of sorry, I'm getting emotional. Before I kind of turned on the camera, the last kind of words with this is going to be emotional. His main heart focus, his main concern, his main worry, his kind of emotion is with Lauren. I asked how she's doing. He said she's doing well, keeping herself distracted, but there are days where she cannot get out of bed. She sleeps with his clothes, so she can feel like he's near her, and she does feel him near her, and he has tried to communicate with her. He said he's working very closely with Cameron, Lauren's son, and he communicates. I know Cameron said this in the funeral, but Nipsey has reiterated that he communicates highly with him in spirit and through dreams, because he wants Cameron to know that he's there and to give him guidance on how to look after his mum. I asked whether Nipsey knew that it was time and that he was going to go, because obviously we know how enlightened he is. His energy is so cool, guys. His energy is so cool. He's laid back, he's chill. He said the only thing that saddens him is that I didn't get to say bye to my family. And my kids. And that I can feel his heart ache there. He doesn't show tears. He's not crying, but I can feel it in his heart. Yeah, say my babies. He's also making it very clear when he says my baby, he's saying all three of them, so he is including Cameron in that. He is very much including Cameron in that as one of his own. He doesn't want to talk too much about the kids because he is their protection and he doesn't want to put everything out there. But he wants everyone to send so much love to Lauren because she needs it. I asked him, how do you think Lauren will go forward? What does her life look like without you? He said she's going to find it so hard. It's not going to be easy, it's going to be tough. His emotion for Lauren is very, he's worried about her. More than anyone. More than anyone, more than his mum, more than his siblings, more than anyone. I asked him about his siblings. He said, I'm bringing a relationship for my brother that will help heal him, and my sister will be fine. She knows how it is. I asked him whether he saw this coming, and he said not this soon. He said I knew it could end this way, but not as soon as it did. And he said not from one of my own, which he meant. He thought it would be the government or the FBI, the police, someone like that. He said, not from one of my own. No. He's talking about, guys, I haven't even picked up any cards yet, but he's just giving me so much information. Slowly, it's a very calm, gentle spirit. He's saying the LAPD were bugging me. They were out to get me. He's talking about at least 2 weeks before he passed away, they were in his shop. I know that they've said this, but he's just reiterating this to me. I can only tell you what he's telling me. He's saying they were bugging me, and the guy, I don't know what his name is it Eric Holder? Is that his name? He was an informant. He's saying, so I know it's something to do with the LAPD. He is making that clear, but still the guy had a lot of hate towards me, is what he's saying. He's saying the guy had a lot of hate towards me, so even if the police hadn't pushed him to do it or paid him to do it, he would have come after me anyway. He's saying it's not that I didn't want to help him, everything in due time. So yeah, he just wanted to say that and get that out of the way, and that's kind of, I think, all he wants to talk about the kind of actual death, as it were. He's bringing me to his mum and saying that my mum is spiritually well and spiritually fine. We have spoken, I've connected with her, she's connected with me, and we're at peace. So I don't really need to address that. My dad is having a hard time. My dad doesn't have the same spiritual belief that my mum has. He's finding it a bit harder, but I'm going to sort that out. He's very calm, guys. He's very calm. He's not angry. He's not overly emotional. He's very like, well, this is how it is. I worked on earth and I will continue to work the same way in spirit. I will continue to use my spirit through people to make things happen. I'm still going to make changes. So let's just pull some cards. Okay, the death card flipped over, guys. So yeah, okay, we've got the death and the chariot, they flipped over together. I actually, funnily enough, asked Nipsey about Tupac. I said, have you met him? Is he there? He said he ain't here. So that's what he said to me loud and clear, guys. He said he ain't here. He said, ain't that a beep, and laughed. So take that as you will. I'm taking that as I will. That just flew out. Three of Wands. I asked him about his money and money that's been left. He said I didn't care about that, and Lauren didn't care about that neither. It was never about the money, it was always about the movement. Nipsey. Okay. Oh. That's a point. Okay. I feel like these cards have been pulled very adequately for Nipsey. The Ten of Pentacles talks about inheritance, money growing, financial stability for family. His money is going to the right people. That's all we need to know. It's not going to the wrong people. His money is going to the right people. His business will be looked after. His ventures will continue to flourish. The right people will pick it up. He's just talking to me about the Dr. Sebi documentary and Nick Cannon. There is another man who will join with Nick Cannon to help him finish this off. He has his own way of doing things, and I think we know that, and he's just saying it's not going to be finished in the way I would have done it, but it's okay, I'll let them put their own twist on it. So he's kind of nodding approval to that and thanking them for that, because he still wants that word to get out there. Three of Wands is, I think, Nipsey Hussle's whole energy. It's self-expression, speed. He did everything similar to Tupac. When Tupac worked very, very fast, Nipsey worked very, very fast as well. I don't feel like with Tupac, I know Tupac knew people were coming to get him. Nipsey always felt safe. He never felt unsafe. He made that very clear to me. He's like, this is my community. I always felt safe. But I always knew it was a possibility. And there were things I needed to get done. So I did work extra fast. It was always full steam ahead. We've got the Chariot. Always full steam ahead. He never looked back. Always forward. Keeps going forward. He's still doing that now. He wants to know that the movement, the marathon continues. The race continues. We're not stopping. We're going forward, full steam ahead. The Chariot talks about balance. And this was all leading up until his death. The death card is representational of his death. It is above the Knight of Pentacles reversed, which talks about the man who took his life. The Knight of Pentacles is someone who cannot be trusted. The Knight of Pentacles reversed talks about someone who schemes and is not honest about what they want, is trying to manipulate you, trying to use you to their advantage. That talks about this guy that took Nipsey from us, and Nipsey saw that, and that's why it's connected and linked to the death card there. He just wants to say as well, I asked him if Lauren was pregnant. He said no. He said, I wish she was, because it would have given her something to focus on. It would have given her something to get out of bed in the morning. But he's saying no. No, she's not. Okay. He is a King of Swords energy, guys. Nipsey Hussle is a King of Swords energy. King of Swords is ambitious, sharp, decisive. He's got a strategy, he's got a plan, he has a successful business practice. He's adept to solving problems. He's, you know, the boss, the manager, he's a leader. He always sees the bigger picture. A go-getter, someone who is willing to stand at the head of the line with his sword and fight the battle. That is his whole energy and persona. And he's, again, that's attached to the Chariot. He's full steam ahead with that. That is not stopping. The Magician. Nipsey wants to talk about the mind, okay? The Magician card for me always, always, always signifies law of attraction. The infinite balance above the mind. Nipsey is saying, guys, open your minds. Open a book. Put down your phones and open a book. He wants to make that very clear. He's saying, if you've taken anything from my death, it's to take a step back and reevaluate your life. There's more that we don't know, and he was always eager to learn that. He's always and that's come across, that's attached to his expression card. So the Three of Wands is attached to that card. So that's about his self-expression. He's very much talking about keep going. Learn, read, educate yourself. Don't wait for someone else to come and educate you. You are the creator. You are the magician of your life. You create the miracles. And that's very much how he lived his life. Nothing was handed to him. Nothing was given to him. He worked for it, and he was happy to work for it. The Temperance. Balance and harmony coming into families. So I feel like his family has, you know, grown closer from this. What his family relationships were like before his death, but if there was anyone who wasn't talking to anyone, or anyone who had problems with anyone, his dad and his mum, he's talking about his dad and his mum, okay, it's healed, and it's been healed through his passing. I do want to pull some angel cards for Nipsey, because like I said, Nipsey is an angel himself. There's not too much to say. He's just mainly concerned, like I said, about Lauren and the kids. I asked him if, right, okay, guys, the Supreme Protection card fell out. I don't know if there's really anything else I need to pull on the angel cards, because that's mainly it. He is protecting them. I asked if they're still in the house. He said no. He said that house has been empty since I left. And he said, I said, are they going back there? He said, hell no. So they're not going back. I asked if he can tell me where they are. He said, I'm not going to tell you where they are. He said, they're with family. That's all I'm going to say. Oh, sorry. That's a lot of cards. Let's see, is there anything else? Devotion. I'm not surprised about that. He's still devoted to the work, guys. The work, the marathon continues. He's just saying it. The work don't stop, even though I'm not there physically. You're still going to hear about my work. He is working to do two things over in spirit, okay? The voice of truth, Joan of Arc. Stand strong, focus on your purpose, release the fear of persecution, and speak your truth. There are two things he wants to do, and two things he has actually been tasked to do over on the other side. One of them, as I said, is working with the youth, the African American youth specifically, and pushing them in the right direction and teaching them about law of attraction and how to use their mind and educating themselves. The other side of that is he's going to shed light on a lot of corruption, and he was very aware of this, and he was very aware, guys, not to speak vocally about it. So if he ever did interviews or anything like that, he was very aware not to say the government's corrupt, the police are corrupt. He knew it, but he was very wise, guys. This man was very, very wise. He's funny as well. He's saying, I still am. I know. Sorry. He is very wise. And he saw things for what they were, but he knew when to open his mouth and when to close his mouth, and when to say things and when not to say things. So you won't find, I don't think you'll ever find an interview of him saying the police are corrupt, this is corrupt, that's corrupt, because he was very aware of the complications with that. But he knew it, and from the other side he wants to work to bring that to light. He's really working on shedding light on this earth, bringing love to others, making it clear there's no drama with me. He said, I knew who to have in my circle and who not to have. So my circle was always full of peace and love. My main thing for the people I love is for me to protect them from where I am. He is worried about Lauren's protection. Not in a sense that people are out to get her or anything like that, although he does not physically want her to go back to that house. But he wants to protect her emotionally, and making it very clear that my kids will be fine. I don't really have to worry about them because they've got mummy, they've got grandma, they've got granddad, Cameron's got his dad. My kids will be fine. I don't have to worry about them. My siblings have each other and they've got my mum. Who's Lauren got? She doesn't have me anymore physically. And that's the part that she's struggling with. Lauren is very spiritual, guys, and she believes in life after death. And she's seeing a lot of psychic mediums as well for her reassurance. She feels him. She knows he's there, but it's not the same as being able to touch them. I feel like they had a very, attentive relationship. They touched each other a lot. They were very tactile. if you ever saw them together, they were always holding on to each other. They were very independent souls, but their love, the way they showed love, was physical, and their love was very deep. Very deep. Yeah, she was the love of my life, he's saying. She was the love of my life. Oh. He wants to say that I would have never found another her. I want to pull some cards on their relationship because I feel like that's what he really wants to talk about, and he wants people to know. Yeah, he's saying, I don't think people realised how much I loved her. He's saying, although we were tactile and we would touch, I was never gushy. That's his words. I was never gushy. I wasn't that guy. I wasn't very romantic. I didn't do roses and rose petals. And he's saying she never asked for that. That's not the kind of girl she was or is. She's down to earth, and she never wanted any of that. He's saying, I wish I could. Oh God, I wish I could give her some roses. It hurts him to see her hurt and him not be able to do anything about it. Let's just pull in their relationship. I do feel like they were engaged. They weren't married, but I do feel like there was... Were you engaged? See? No, you wanted to be. Okay. So they fell out. Lots of cups energy, which is about love. He gave, she gave him a different lease of life. He didn't know that he could love the way he loved Lauren. Okay, Lauren, okay. Yeah. In a lot of ways, although you'd be surprised, she was his strength. They had such a deep love, guys. I can't even, it's making me really emotional. There's only one reverse card here, and that's the Knight of Pentacles. And to me, the Knight of Pentacles talks about someone who can't be trusted, who is dishonest and disloyal, who says things that they don't mean. This to me isn't either of them in the relationship, because I feel like they were very transparent with each other. This to me talks about two things. It talks about Nipsey's relationships with people before he met Lauren, and Lauren's relationship with people going forward. I feel like before Nipsey met Lauren, he had a hard time trusting people. Not to say he wasn't a people person, because he always has been, but there's always been a part of his guard that's been up, and she allowed his guard to come down. Going forward, Lauren is finding it very hard to trust people. She doesn't know who to trust. She doesn't know where to look for her guidance and her protection anymore. She doesn't know what to do, and that's a result of his death. So that's the card after his death. She's very lost, and isn't sure how to not fill his place, but how she can feel the security that he gave her. The Star talks about purpose and potential, inspiration and guidance, creativity. It talks about making a dream come true, and nurturing a dream together, and building a home, and building a life, and building a river. You see how the two cups flow together peacefully? That represents their union. So when they got together, it just flowed. It wasn't hard work, it was meant to be. They were meant to be together. Their union was destined. The Ace of Swords reverse talks about loss. We know exactly what that is. That is loss of each other. Although from Nipsey, he's saying, I can still see her, I can still feel her, I can still touch her. She's had more of a loss losing me, and he's very aware of that, but he tries to communicate in all ways that he can with her. He's saying in the beginning it was really difficult because she was really blinded by her emotion. She's saying it's getting easier now. The Knight of Cups, if I had to pick a card to probably sum up what their relationship was like, it would be the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is creative and dreamy, and he brings around a social aspect, a social environment, like a holiday vibe, sunshine, glow. He's full of love, full of light, full of life. To be followed by the Page of Cups, which is guidance. Good news about a relationship, someone who's artistic, again, sociable, romantic. Although he wasn't romantic, but they were romantic in their own way. Let's say he wasn't traditionally romantic, but they were romantic in their own way. They had a friendship. At the bottom line of it, they had a friendship. And no matter what happened, because I don't feel like it was always plain sailing. I feel like they had their moments. He's saying, yeah, but we got through it. She's my best friend. Oh God. She's my best friend. Love of my life. Light of my life. And he's just said, I don't know. Oh God. Sorry. Oh God, get yourself together. He's saying, I don't know how she can live without me. Because I couldn't live without her. He's very protective over her, guys. Very protective. I think it speaks volumes that he's not too worried about his kids, and he's not too worried about his parents or his siblings. He wants to just, I feel like he wants to just wrap her up. Just hold her and tell her everything's gonna be okay. My God. Can we just send some love to Lauren? Because when you meet your soulmate, the person you want to spend the rest of your life with, and you love them so deeply, I don't think we can ever understand that kind of loss unless you go through it. And I just think she needs a lot of love and light around her at the moment. So if we can send that to her, because their relationship was very special, and it's something she will never be able to find again. Honestly. The Eight of Swords talks about denial. She's finding it very hard to come to terms with this, and that's understandable. Her whole world, guys, has fallen apart. And when I say he was her whole world, I mean he was her whole world. He was her protector, her light, her sun, her moon, her day, her food, her energy, her everything. I can't put into words the heartbreak that I feel for her. It's truly tragic. She was his strength. And I feel like it's very important, and when she goes to see a medium, this will be communicated to her. He wants her to know that she can get through this, because he wasn't just her strength, she was his. She kept him, you know what they say, behind every great man is a great woman. That's how it was, and she's loyal and dedicated and committed to them no matter what happened. She was ride or die, and she still is. I don't really feel or want to talk about any future relationship for Lauren, because I'm not going to do that to Nipsey. I just don't feel like she will ever love the same again, and I honestly, it's heartbreaking. I just feel completely and utterly heartbroken when I tap into her energy. It's going to take her a long time. I'm being told she'll never get over it. She'll never get over him. She will always miss him. It will always ache her heart. This is her energy. She's very tearful. She still cries every day. And she tries to stay strong for the kids, because she is still, you know, a mum. But she just wants to wrap up and hide away from the world, and she would give anything to have him back. And I just feel so sad and emotional with her. So deeply saddened with her. She will never get over it. I don't think they're saying, she'll never get over it. And even for her to get up and get out, it's going to be at least 2 or 3 years. At least, for her to feel safe and secure, because she does feel unsafe. He really was her protector, you know.
like even down to sleeping in the bed alone, I feel like she struggles with. I just want to pull on any final cards. Nipsey didn't have too much to say. His main thing was about Lauren and making it clear how much he loved her. Loves her, and making it clear that his work is still continuing. He's not stopping just because he's not physically here anymore. He wants to make that clear. He's not bothered, guys, so please don't ask about the case, the court case. He said it's irrelevant. He said that doesn't matter to me. I've forgiven. He's forgiven. He said I forgave as soon as it happened. It's irrelevant to me. Yeah, okay. So please don't ask anything about that in the comments, because he's really not interested in speaking about it. He said as soon as it happened I forgave. I never carried any hatred in my heart for anyone ever, and I never will. I feel like this needs to be upright. I never usually do that, but he just wants to make it clear, because I feel like, I don't know whether there's been rumours saying that they didn't really love each other and they weren't married and they weren't this and they weren't that. The devil usually talks about an ideal, being tied to an ideal of something. But I feel like he wants to make it very clear that he was heavily committed to his relationship and to Lauren. And anyone who says other can beep, beep, beep. I can't say the words. The Emperor is a protector, a father figure, security, stability. That's everything he stood for in their relationship. The world. The world. I think it's quite significant that that card came out. The world is what it says it is. They had the world, and she felt like with him she had the world, and he was her world, and she was his world. He wants to make that clear. The Four of Swords, it did come out reversed, but nah, for me that stands upright, because the Four of Swords talks about recovery. She will get through it. The Emperor talks about like a long-term thing, so you know it's going to be a long battle, but she's got his protection around her. And one more card, Nipsey, before you go. Is there anything else you want us to know? Three of Wands. That's Nipsey's card. That is Nipsey's card, self-expression and speed. I said, is there anything else you want us to know? He's just saying, use your minds. Use your minds. And thank you. He's saying thank you. And the marathon continues. Yeah. He knew how much... Okay, he's a very humble man. I know he said never let the hard times humble us, but he's a very humble person. So everything he did, it was never for fame, it was never for attention. He did it out of the goodness and pureness of his heart. And he can't believe the effect he's had on the world over, but he's grateful. So thank you, and use your minds. Thank you so much for watching, lovelies. This is a really special reading. I do hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you did, hit a thumbs up, subscribe down below, and comment down some blue hearts for Nipsey. Thank you.